Yu Menglong death case. A spy girlfriend and new shocking updates. Echoes and shadows. The scream tore through the humid Beijing night like a blade slicing silk. Fifth floor. Sunshine Upper East Complex. A body hit the pavement with a sickening wet thud that echoed off the luxury towers. Blood pooled under the shattered remains of what was once China's brightest star, Yu Menglong. Alan Yu to his millions of fans. The man who lit up screens with that boyish charm and eyes that seemed to hold entire galaxies. But that night, those eyes were vacant, staring into the void as sirens wailed in the distance. Official story. He got drunk at a private industry gathering and accidentally fell. Case closed before the blood even dried. Bullshit. This wasn't a fall. This was an execution. And at the center of it all? A woman who called herself his girlfriend. A shadow operative planted to watch, seduce and ultimately betray him. Her name whispered in the dark corners of WeChat groups and encrypted Telegram channels. Can Xan? Or was it Ying Ting? The lines blurred in the chaos of rumors, but one thing was clear. She wasn't who she claimed to be. Yu Menglong had been digging too deep. Into the rotten underbelly of China's glittering entertainment empire. The secret parties where power players traded in flesh, favors and silence. The hidden vaults of blackmail. The whispers of something far darker. Coded messages, USB drives with names that could topple dynasties, and a web of influence stretching from Beijing penthouses to shadowy international corridors. He thought he could expose it. He thought love would shield him. He was wrong. Dead wrong. The night began innocently enough, or so the survivors claimed. A casual dinner at a Bulgari hotel suite. Crystal chandeliers dripping like frozen tears. Bottles of vintage Baijiu flowing like liquid fire. Laughter that rang too sharp, too forced. Yu Menglong arrived with Can Xen on his arm. Stunning, poised, her smile a perfect mask that never quite reached her eyes. She laughed at his jokes, her hand lingering on his thigh just a second too long. The kind of touch that said I'm yours while her mind catalogued every word he uttered. But beneath the surface, the air crackled with tension. You had changed in the weeks leading up. His fans noticed it first. Live streams where his usual radiant energy flickered like a dying bulb. He'd glance over his shoulder mid-sentence, his voice dropping to a murmur. There are things you wouldn't believe. Once, in a heavily monitored broadcast, his lips formed 3 desperate words toward the camera. Help me. The sensors cut the feed. Too late. The echo lingered. He'd found something. A USB drive. Encrypted files detailing a network of elites who didn't just control careers. They owned souls. Directors, producers, heirs to political fortunes. Names that made powerful men sweat. Yu Menglong, the golden boy who rose from Xinjiang roots to Weibo superstardom with 25 million followers, had started asking questions. Refusing certain private invitations. Turning down roles that came with unspoken strings. Can Xan was there through it all. Comforting him in hotel rooms lit by city glow. Whispering promises in the dark. I'm with you, Alan. No matter what. Her fingers tracing patterns on his back that felt like comfort but were really mapping his secrets. She knew about the USB. She knew about the coded messages he'd been receiving, late-night drops from anonymous sources promising proof of the empire's rot. He was the perfect plant. Beautiful. Ambitious. Inserted into his life months earlier under the guise of a budding romance that set fan forums ablaze. But her real handlers. Whispers pointed to factions within the industry machine or higher. People who saw you not as a star but a liability. A loose thread in a tapestry of control. Flashback to the suite. 9 days of hell according to the underground reports leaking like blood from a fresh wound. Lured there under pretense of celebration. Doors locked. Phones confiscated for security. What followed was a nightmare scripted by demons. Yu Menglong, bound and defiant, faced the circle. 17 faces. Some familiar from red carpets, others shadows in tailored suits. They wanted the USB. They wanted his silence. Fingernails pried loose with pliers. His body suspended from the window ledge, dangling 5 stories above concrete as threats rained down. Jump or we'll make you. Drugs pumped into his veins to blur the edges. Alcohol forced until his world spun. Can Xan watched from the periphery. Her role? Not just spy but facilitator. Feeding intel. Ensuring he stayed isolated. maybe even slipping something into his drink with a lover's kiss. The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. The woman he trusted with his fears, his body, his future, turning the knife while smiling that same perfect smile. Echoes of his screams supposedly leaked in grainy audio files circulating on the dark web. Rain patterns from that night didn't match the official timeline. Shadows on CCTV that didn't belong. Independent investigators, brave women trekking through Beijing streets, pieced together a dossier that painted a picture of calculated murder. Not an accident. A message. He fought back. In his final moments he allegedly spat defiance. You'll never own everyone. Then the push. Or the throw. His body arcing through the night, crashing into the abyss. Blood on the pavement spelling out a story the authorities rushed to erase. The cover-up was masterful. Police on scene within minutes. Statements prepped before the body cooled. Intoxication. Accidental fall. His studio, conveniently deregistered earlier, issued robotic condolences. Even a statement attributed to his mother who wasn't even there. Social media scrubbed clean. Over 100,000 posts vanished. Accounts suspended. The machine ground into action, burying truth under layers of denial. But the people wouldn't stay silent. Petitions surged past 600,000 signatures. Hashtags exploded before censors could blink. Hashtag Justice for Alan Yu trended like wildfire across borders. Leaked videos surfaced. Yu in a sack being transported? Bruises under makeup weeks prior. A live stream glance of pure terror. Nkanexian. Vanished into the ether or perhaps protected. Rumors painted her as the linchpin. A spy girlfriend with ties to the accused. Her past riddled with convenient connections. The kind of woman trained to infiltrate, extract, and disappear. One moment the loving partner posting couple selfies, the next a ghost whose digital footprint was surgically removed. New shocking updates poured in daily from citizen sleuths risking everything. A second USB? Hidden backups with names linking to art museums exhibiting preserved horrors that mirrored real atrocities. Parties where celebrities hosted rituals of dominance. Foreign intelligence whispers of bigger geopolitical games. You stumbling into something that threatened national narratives. The echoes spread. Shadows lengthened. Fans turned detectives, mapping timelines that didn't add up. Weather data contradicting the fall date. Audio spectrograms revealing screams days earlier. A network of 17 powerful figures, their alibis crumbling under scrutiny. One heir to immense political bloodlines, owner of the apartment, Rolex watches on Yu's broken wrist. Deeper into the abyss. Imagine the final confrontation. Yu bloodied but unbroken, clutching the drive like a holy relic. Can Exon leaning in close, her breath hot against his ear. It's over, my love. Give it to them. Her eyes, cold calculation beneath the facade of tears. She had played the long game. Seduced his trust. Reported every late-night call, every whispered meeting. Outside the suite, Beijing hummed indifferently. Skyscrapers piercing the smog like accusatory fingers. The elite feasted while one of their brightest burned. But Yu Menglong's death ignited something primal. A silent rebellion. Ordinary citizens, artists, exiles, connecting dots across firewalls and oceans. His story became a mirror to a system where fame was a cage, love a weapon, and truth the ultimate casualty. Mind-blowing revelations kept dropping. Coded messages in his final posts. Numbers and symbols pointing to safe houses. Allies who vanished after promising protection. International angles. Was this tied to broader espionage with Can Xan a double agent bridging entertainment and state shadows? The USB contents? Speculation ran wild. Lists of compromised stars, financial trails to offshore accounts. Even darker rituals involving influence and control that made Epstein look tame. Yu's mother, heartbroken, allegedly pressured into the scripted statement. Friends gagged by NDAs thicker than blood oaths. The 17 names. A who's who that sent chills through the industry. Directors whose films masked real horrors. Heirs whose family legacies dripped with old blood. And at the heart, the spy girlfriend whose betrayal was the spark that lit the fuse. Hours stretched into days of torture in that Bulgari prison. Fingernails gone. Body dangling like meat on a hook. Drugs twisting his mind into hallucinations of escape. Can Xian coming and going playing nurse and executioner. Tell me where it is, she'd coo, her fingers gentle on his wounds before pressing harder. The intimacy of betrayal, kisses laced with poison, embraces hiding wires. He held out. Until he couldn't. The final shove came at dawn, they say. His body sailing through air thick with betrayal. Impact that shattered not just bones but illusions. In the aftermath the city tried to forget. But echoes don't die. Shadows don't fade. Underground forums buzzed with new evidence. Manipulated CCTV timestamps. Rain that fell on the wrong day, voices in the wind captured by nearby mics. A leaked photo of Can Xian at the scene, her expression not grief but satisfaction. Fans worldwide mobilized. Petitions. Protests in diaspora communities. Art tributes. Music dedicated to his fight. His death wasn't the end, it was the detonation. A spark against the machine. The case twists further. Whispers of survival. A body double. Oh. The blood was real. But the truth? Explosive. New updates from independent probes revealed coordinated transport of evidence. Vans near airports. Bodies moved in sacks under cover of night. Connections to museums displaying artifacts that eerily paralleled the alleged tortures. Preserved pain as public spectacle. Can Xian's background unraveled in citizen reports. Multiple identities. Training that screamed intelligence operative. Romances with other rising stars that ended in convenient scandals or silence. He was the honey trap perfected. Beautiful bait for a man whose light threatened the dark. Yu Menglong knew the risks. In his last lucid moments, perhaps he recorded a final message. A ghost file now circulating in fragments. If you're watching this, they're coming for all of us. Don't let the shadows win. His voice cracked but resolute, sending shivers through listeners. The Empire struck back hard. Censorship waves. Threats to investigators. But the floodgates opened. Millions demanded answers. What really happened in that suite? Who were the 17? How deep did the spy girlfriend's web go? Intensifying the nightmare. Picture the dinner party devolving into a gauntlet. Elites toasting Yu's cooperation while circling like wolves. Stories of similar fates. Other stars who fell or overdosed after asking questions. A pattern of control through fear, sex, and secrets. Can Xian orchestrating the mood, ensuring the drugs hit just right. Her laughter masking the horror. Yu's resistance was legendary in the retellings. Fighting despite broken fingers. Spitting blood in their faces. A final act of defiance that sealed his fate but lit 1,000 fires. His fall wasn't passive, it was a broadcast to the world. A body as protest. New shocking updates. Forensic discrepancies. Toxicology that didn't match a simple drunk fall. Bruises inconsistent with accident. Witnesses recanting under pressure. Second girlfriend? Or another plant? The layers peeled back to reveal a harem of influence, all feeding data to the core. International media sniffed the edges, but China's wall held firm. Abroad, podcasts dissected every frame. Reddit threads became war rooms. YouTube channels racked millions of views piecing the puzzle. Echoes and shadows, the phrase that captured it. His voice echoing from the grave. Shadows of the powerful closing in. The human cost. Fans in mourning, lighting candles in virtual vigils. Families torn. A mother forced to bury her son twice. Once in earth, once in lies. Yu Menglong, the actor who made hearts soar in historical epics, reduced to a cautionary tale. But also a martyr. A symbol of resistance in a world of scripted realities. Can Xian, if alive and free, represented the ultimate mindfuck. Love as the deadliest weapon. A girlfriend who mapped his vulnerabilities like a general. Plans invasion. Seduction laced with surveillance. Intimacy as interrogation. The betrayal so profound it shattered trust for an entire generation of fans. What if she was still out there? Watching. Reporting. Waiting for the next target. Her face haunting search histories. Her name a curse and a warning. As days turned to weeks, the case evolved into legend. New leaks. Audio of the torture. Blurry footage of figures on the balcony. Timelines reconstructed by weather, shadows, and sheer human will. The independent report, 40 pages of damning detail, circulated like Sami's dot. Rain didn't lie. Neither did the people. Yu Menglong's legacy? Not just films but a awakening. A crack in the facade. Millions questioning the narratives fed to them. The entertainment world trembling as names surfaced. Calls for boycotts. Investigations demanded. The spy girlfriend angle? Pure psychological terror. Imagine trusting someone with your soul only for them to sell it piece by piece. Can Xian's alleged role elevated the story from crime to espionage thriller. A real-life Gone Girl meets the Bourne Identity, set against Beijing's neon dystopia. Shocking update after update. Connections to higher powers. Political bloodlines. Foreign elements. The USB's contents rumored to include everything from financial empires to compromising videos that could ignite revolutions. You had become the unwilling guardian of forbidden knowledge. The intensity builds to a crescendo. In the dead of night, hackers released more photos of the suite post-incident, cleaned too perfectly. Can Xian's travel records clashing with her statements? Testimonies from hotel staff who saw too much and vanished. Yu Menglong didn't just fall, he was hurled into immortality. His death a rallying cry. Echoes and shadows became the banner under which truth-seekers marched. The story mind-blowing in its scope. One man's fight against a hydra of corruption, undone by the woman closest to his heart. Fans recreated his final live streams. Analyzed every micro-expression. Found the hidden signals. The world watched transfixed. This wasn't tabloid fodder. This was a mirror to power itself. How it corrupts, consumes and covers its tracks. Yet hope flickered. Petitions grew. Voices united. Perhaps in the collective roar justice could pierce the veil. Use light, extinguished in blood, now burned in millions. The shadows lengthened but echoes refused to fade. The fall was only the beginning. What happened inside that Bulgari suite wasn't murder. It was a symphony of damnation, composed note by excruciating note, with Can Xian as the conductor wearing the face of love. Yu Menglong regained consciousness to the taste of his own blood and the sting of zip ties biting into his wrists. The luxury suite, once a symbol of his hard-won success, had transformed into a chamber of horrors. Dimmed lights cast long monstrous shadows across marble floors now streaked with crimson. The 17 sat in a circle like judges from hell, faces half-hidden, eyes gleaming with the sick hunger of untouchable power. And there she was. Can Xian. Ting. Whatever name her handlers had given her that week. She knelt beside him, her fingers, those same fingers that had traced promises of forever across his skin, now pressing a cloth soaked in something burning against the raw flesh where his nails used to be. Shu Allen, she whispered, her voice a velvet blade. This is for your own good. Just tell them where the drive is. We can still run away together. Her eyes. God, those eyes. In the public eye they sparkled with adoration. Here in the suffocating silence between screams they were voids. Black holes sucking in his secrets, his pain, his soul. She had been feeding them everything for months. Every vulnerable confession in the afterglow of passion. Every late-night theory about the industry's black heart. Every contact he trusted. She catalogued it all while moaning his name. The first round of questions lasted hours. Pliers. Electricity from hotel lamps rewired into instruments of agony. They dangled him from the balcony railing, his bare feet scraping the edge, Beijing's glittering skyline mocking him from below. The wind howled like a banshee. One slip, one push and it would all end. Jump, golden boy, laughed one of the heirs, a man whose family name commanded armies of silence. Or we'll make your mother watch the next one. You spat blood into the void. You'll burn with me. Can Xian watched from inside, sipping champagne, her posture relaxed as if reviewing footage for a drama shoot. She occasionally stepped out to comfort him, kisses that tasted of betrayal and sedatives, her body pressed against his broken one in a perversion of intimacy. She knew the USB's hiding place narrowed with every session. She was the perfect spy because she didn't just monitor, she became the weakness. The girlfriend who made him believe he was finally seen, only to weaponize that sight against him. New leaks hit like detonations. Underground networks released what they claimed were smuggled audio fragments from inside the suite. Yu's voice raw and defiant at first, cracking under the onslaught. Why? I loved you. Her reply cold and clinical. Love is a tool, darling. You were always the mission. The words spread like virus across encrypted channels, shattering millions of hearts. Fans who shipped Menglong burned their memorabilia in digital pyres. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was cosmic. The woman who held him through panic attacks about industry pressure was the architect of his annihilation. But the mind-blowing twists went nuclear. Independent investigators, those fearless women who walked the blood-soaked paths, uncovered a second layer. Kim Xin wasn't working alone. She was part of an elite girlfriend program, a shadowy initiative where beautiful trained operatives embedded with rising stars to neutralize threats. He wasn't the first. Others had fallen too. Overdoses, suicides, accidents that followed the exact same pattern. Romance, digging, isolation, elimination. The USB? It contained more than names. It held video evidence of rituals in hidden basements beneath Beijing art museums. Exhibits of preserved art that were allegedly covers for real depravity. Organs traded like commodities. Souls auctioned in private auctions. You had stumbled into the veins of a beast that fed on the industry's brightest to maintain control. In Kim Xin, she had delivered him bound and gagged. Day 4 of captivity. Yu's body was a map of torment. Fingernails gone, ribs cracked, vision blurring from repeated blows. They forced him to call contacts while she held a knife to his throat, her breath steady against his ear. Sound natural, love. He tried signaling distress in code, but she caught it. The punishment was swift and intimate. She administered the drugs herself, her touch lingering as the chemicals flooded his system, twisting reality into nightmares where she was both savior and executioner. Outside, the city slept under heavy censorship. But inside the shadows, echoes multiplied. A hotel worker who smuggled out a partial recording was found suicided days later. CCTV shadows revealed extra figures entering after midnight. Men who didn't belong to the official 17 but pulled even longer strings. Political ghosts. International fixers. This wasn't just showbiz cleanup. This was geopolitical sanitation. Yu Menglong had uncovered links that threatened narratives far beyond entertainment. Ties that could expose fractures in the system's foundation. Kim Xin's background cracked open like a grave. Forged identities stretching back years. Training in psychological manipulation that made her irresistible and lethal. Previous boyfriends, promising talents who faded into obscurity or worse. She was a chameleon, adapting to each target's desires. For Yu, the gentle, loyal partner who loved his art. In truth, a predator who studied his films, his interviews, his fears and mirrored them perfectly. The mind-blowing realization. Every tender moment was scripted. Every, I love you, a data point. The climax inside the suite defied sanity. They brought in a projector. Forced you to watch edited footage of his own life. Intimate moments with Kim Xin interspersed with her reports to handlers. Her voiceover detailing his weaknesses with clinical detachment. He broke then. Not from pain but from the abyss of deception. You were never real, he whispered. She smiled, the same smile from 1,000 red carpet photos, and leaned in. None of us are, Alan. That's the game. Then the final act. Drugged to near oblivion, beaten beyond recognition, they dragged him to the window. Rain lashed the glass, but the timeline didn't match. New evidence suggested the fall was staged later, body repositioned, story fabricated. Some reports claimed he was already gone days earlier, the public date a misdirection. His last words gasped through swollen lips, the echoes, will outlive you all. The push. The scream swallowed by thunder. The body hitting pavement with force that told physics what lies couldn't hide, trajectory inconsistent with a simple drunken tumble. Blood spatter patterns screaming murder. A surviving fragment of the USB allegedly surfaced in overseas hands. Partial files naming not just 17, but a council of 50-plus influencers, some with blood ties to founding legacies. Videos of parties that made viewers physically ill. Kim Xin's face in multiple frames, orchestrating from the wings. Citizen hackers released deepfake analysis proving official statements were voice-modded. Weather data, satellite shadows, acoustic forensics, all converged on one truth: calculated assassination. The spy girlfriend had gone dark post-incident, but sightings trickled in. Private jets, disguised appearances in Southeast Asia, whispers she was already embedding with the next target. The psychological warfare continued from the grave. Deep state-level ops allegedly flooded forums with disinformation, some claiming Yu faked it, others painting him as unstable. But the people saw through it. Petitions hit millions. Global boycotts of implicated brands and films. Artists in exile dropping bombshell testimonies. One ex-insider described the girlfriend program as the ultimate firewall. Destroy from within using the heart. Mind-blowing escalation. Links to international intelligence. Can XAN possibly a triple agent playing factions against each other? The USB holding dirt not just on China, but cross-border operations involving Hollywood echoes and beyond. Yu Menglong, the unwitting key, paid with his life for pulling the thread. His final live stream? Decoded frame by frame. Subtle hand signals. Eye movements spelling distress in a private code shared with true allies. Help me wasn't desperation, it was activation. A call to arms that activated sleeper networks of fans and insiders. The sweet aftermath was clinical. Cleaners arrived before authorities. Evidence bagged and vanished. Ken Exon slipped out in a service elevator, her expression unreadable, perhaps already filing the mission complete report. In the days that followed, she allegedly planted stories of grief, victimhood, classic tradecraft to deflect. But the mask slipped in leaked messages. Pride in a job well done. Yu's mother received the body under guard. Forced statements at gunpoint to the soul. The machine tried to bury him, but bodies this bright cast long shadows. Fans smuggled flowers to the site despite surveillance. Murals appeared overnight in cities worldwide. His films trended with new eyes, seeing coded warnings in every scene. Deeper still, theories of ritualistic elements. Dates aligning with occult calendars favored by elites. The Bulgari suite chosen for its symbolic architecture. The 17 performing acts designed to break not just body but spirit, extracting a final submission that you denied them. His defiance in death becoming the ultimate victory. New shocking updates flooded in real time. A whistleblower from within the 17 terrified releasing partial lists. Connections to organ networks where accidental deaths supplied demand. Can Exion's handler exposed as a high-ranking cultural enforcer. International warrants discussed in quiet diplomatic cables. The echoes became a roar. Shadows fractured under light. Yu Menglong's death didn't silence him, it amplified him into legend. A cautionary inferno for anyone chasing fame in the dragon's den. But the case demanded more. Part lurked in the darkness. Potential survivors, hidden copies of the USB. Can Exion's next move? The spy girlfriend who broke the unbreakable star now hunted by the very echoes she helped create. The fall was the spark. The betrayal the fuel. The truth? An inferno consuming the lies. Stay tuned. The shadows are cracking. And what emerges next will shatter everything.